Hey everybody, I hate making videos, but today I have to get over it because I just built possibly the best design of a sukkah that I've ever done in my life. And this is coming from somebody I have 15 years of construction engineering experience. Finally, I think I came up with one design that anybody can do. If you want to do a sukkah in your backyard, on your balcony, or anywhere, I just want to show you this design because might be the easiest, most aesthetic, most practical, least material design that you could ever do. Cheapest design as well for what you get here. I just want to go over it real quick because I think this might help a lot of people that just got their lumber from Home Depot or Lowe's and are looking to try to build their own custom sukkah. So let's take a look at it. I'm going to flip this. Okay, let's go over it real quick. So first of all, you can use 2x3 or 2x4 posts. They usually come in 8-foot lengths. That'll be perfect size, so you can just take that as is. You got some of these brackets, they come at Home Depot. These are Simpson brackets. You get the one that has the corner bracket like that, right? And now the brackets are attached with these special connectors, okay? These are really easy because when you take it apart, I'll show you the box. Okay, these are typical Simpson connectors. Okay, all kinds of brackets like this, right? So you get the right ones with the connector screws. Okay, you get 1.5 inch length. They come in also 2-inch lengths and other lengths. What's great about it is you're never gonna strip any screws. Okay, because as you can see, it's a hex head, right? So these are super easy to take apart and put back together the next year, right? So you install that bracket at the top, you connect it, you got your beams around the perimeter, okay? In whatever length you need. Obviously you need to cut that with a saw to the right size, whatever size you're doing. Okay, after that you install the kickers, which are, I use here 1x3s, which are super easy to work with because they're so thin. You just pop a couple of these same screws through it on a diagonal, boom. Same thing up there, boom, you create this triangle at the corner. All right, and it can be like a 2-foot length, let's say. That'll be perfect, 2 foot on every corner. Now in this corner, I didn't do one because it's such a short span here. It's only 4 feet. So it's a weird size sukkah because I only have a lot of space on this balcony. But you can see I just zip stripped it to what I had, and that's gonna hold it in place. So I'm not worried about that. You see, it's not really shaking in that direction, right? It's not shaking. Now if I didn't have these kickers, it would want to fold, right? The whole thing would want to like fold down, but because the kickers prevent that, right? So just install, if you have a different size, like a 8x8 or something like that, just install the same kickers over here, right? That would keep it strengthened in that direction. Now for the schach, right, you want to put like on every 1.5 feet or so, you know, put some of these little beams across, right, or joists across or whatever. Now the trick here is I notched them 1 inch. So these are the same 1x3s, which are super cheap, super light, easy to work with, super easy to cut. You just cut out 1 inch, okay? You basically take one of these, okay? This is a 1x3. It's called a furring strip, okay? You take this, all right? This is one of the things that was cut out, all right? But that's what you want to mark and cut out, okay? Notch out, okay? At exactly where it's going to land on your beam. Right, now you're going to have to cut it to the right size. So these come in 8-foot length, so you can go as far as 7 feet for the dimension of the sukkah, and then you'll have 6 inches hanging off the edge, or you can do 4 inches hanging off the edge, right? Whatever you decide. But because it's notched, it's not going to move left or right. It's not. It's stuck in there, right? It's notched in there. And then all you do is zip strip it, so it's not going to come up, and that's it. You don't have to use any screws. There are no screws for this. It's only zip strips holding it together. You got no metal touching the schach or anything. Now let's imagine you want to build this in your backyard. All right, super easy, right? You got the posts, you got the kickers, the beams, the brackets. Okay, you've got these joists to support or purlins, whatever you want to call them, to support the schach. Now what do you do at the bottom if you don't have a fence or something? If you have a fence, you can just zip strip it to a fence. Or you can do, if you don't have a fence, just an open field, Or let's say you have fence on one side, you can use that to support it, and on the other side, you can do the following. All right, take a stake, like a plastic gardening stake. They usually get one that's like 8 inches long, about an inch thick or so. You hammer it down into the soil, right next to it. Like I would put, if this were the ground, I would put it right in, and leave about an inch up. And it usually has a loop or something that you can take a zip tie through, and zip tie it, and put a screw under it on the other side or something so it doesn't pull up. And you zip tie it tight with a stake. It's not going to move. So all you want to do is make sure the bottoms don't move left or right or in any direction. So that's supported. At the top, remember, you've got the kicker, so that's not going anywhere. Now let's say you need the walls, right? So in my case, I happen to have this guardrail for the balcony, so I'm going to do is staple up some fabric to make that solid all around, and that's already a wall because it's a 10 tefachim. Now let's say you don't have anything, you're in an open yard, right? So now you need to build a wall. Okay, no problem. All you need to do is get another set of these same brackets. You put the bracket whatever height you want. You can do 10 tefachim and just have it at the bottom for the bare minimum, or you can do a little bit higher for privacy, go up to here, to the bottom of the kicker, right? And then from here you do another beam from the one kicker across to the other kicker. It's going to be exactly like the one on top. And then again from here to here, and you do the same thing. Then you go at the bottom and you do a bottom level 2 from here to here, another beam, right? So now you're basically tripling the amount of lumber you need, because you go not just the top level, you're doing also a mid level and a bottom level. And between the bottom and middle levels, all you do is get fabric and staple it up, and you got a sukkah, and your sukkah is done, right? Super easy design. I mean, for me in this case, where I just zip stripped it for support to the railing, to the guardrail, I mean, I had, let me see, I barely used any screws. I mean, I used a few screws, like 3, or let me see how many screws. Yeah, maybe like 5 screws per bracket, right? Because I put 1 here, and then I had 2 and 2 for each one. You always want to use at least 2 screws so it doesn't pivot, right? You want to keep it rigid, right? So you need a couple of screws here. And so yeah, so let's say 5 screws times 4 brackets, 20 screws, and then 4 screws per kicker, so another 16 screws. I mean, that's it. So easy. Everything else was just zip strips. And this is really solid, you know, really solid. It's not going anywhere. It's not just because it's zip stripped to the guardrail, because like I said, before I put the kickers in, the whole thing was swaying like this left and right because it wants to fold. Once you got this triangle, you create this triangle shape. That's it. This is now a rigid structure right here, and you do rigid structure that way in this on this side, and then you, if you need to, if this is a longer span, you can do one here and one here. That'll hold it in this direction so it doesn't move. And I mean, this is a design. This could be like a sukkah standard, you know. And I especially love not having to screw anything at the top. You know, you don't need to do a screw for every single one. Just zip strip it down because it's notched. It's not going to move left or right. And that side as well. It's not going anywhere. It's tight down with the zip tie, and that's it. It's not moving. So I just wanted to share this design with everybody, and everybody a happy Sukkot, Simchat Torah, happy holiday, and lots of blessings.